Moody Chronicles, April 2022, starting off with a brand new clutch setup from Bonifani, 2-disc, 8-inch. You call them, they give you a roundabout setting based on your combination, then you work from there. That's when the computer comes in handy. First couple runs, clutch was very light. And you'll definitely hear it on the second run versus this one. And the second run coming up, you'll hear the motor. As soon as I drop the clutch, it'll go pretty high, carry it out, but definitely a good place to start. Moving on to the next day, this will be the PC Richard Open. Is actually the 15th, and this is the first run of that day, the first qualifier. Went 771, decent run. Clutch still slipping a little bit at the bottom of each gear, which is amplified on the next run you'll see. We only have in-car from the 15th. This is a Friday afternoon. And you'll definitely hear the difference in the shifts in this run versus the previous run. And I knew something was wrong, so I shut it down early. Yeah, when you shift and the motor doesn't come down as you would like it, you kind of hear it slide into the next gear. That is if you have an automatic transmission, you've heard a slipping transmission. That's essentially the same thing that's going on here, just at a much cooler level. On the following day, this is the warm-up. Overnight, I actually hand sanded the floater. I hand sanded the hat, all the steels, just to get them flat as there was some material on them. Had everything apart overnight, so this next run you'll see is the first run with the newly sanded materials. I cut the clutches myself at my garage. So went home, didn't stop working pretty much the entire night. Did a little, did the sanding with a little palm sander, but got the job done. So car leaves, everything's good. Here's that same run from behind. This is John Serbone. Still sneaking up on the clutch setup, adding weight as we go, more counterweight, more bass, looking at the graph, and definitely discussing some changes. Here we are looking at the graph, and I'm going to talk over the audio. I'm not going to let you hear what we're talking about. But to sum it up, basically, you see separation at the bottom of each gear, which means it needs more clamping force, which needs either more bass or more counterweight, two ways of doing it. Counterweight is RPM based, so we decided to make changes with both between that first run you saw and this one. Hey, who's looking? Top secret. So we already discussed what we wanted to do. We looked at the graph to confirm it. Based on what we heard, based on what we saw, so I added some clutch and some counterweight moving into first round. It was a gorgeous day, by the way. Very dry, beautiful temperatures. This is me rolling in. I got a buy run the first round. Rolling into the burnout box. Do a quick 4-5 burnout. Now, I've been asked why you do short burnouts. And I ask you, do you pay for your own tires? Because these are very expensive tires. You do what's necessary. That's what's necessary to make the car go down and to make the tires get to operating temperature. This is a wonderful run because it's got great audio. You see what the car does off the starting line. And I'm gonna shut up. You can hear from the outside of the car as the car goes into high, shoots, hit, never gone that fast before, 768. There's the same run from behind. This is John filming and emoting when he sees the number. So that was cool. You make all those changes, things go right. They do go right sometimes, and they went pretty right there. This is a round 2, Division 1 top sportsman racer Dan Hill in his orange 69 Camaro. Look it up, Google it. He's on the other side, and at this point, I know something's going on in the other lane because Usually once John is done doing the wheelie bars, he'll point directly in. He's waiting a little bit, giving it a shot to correct what's going on. And I probably talked over the audio, but his car would not go into gear after he backed up from the burnout. His linkage broke. He actually showed it to me later that day. So at this point, the starter has to make a decision, and I've given him plenty of time. Right now, I'm just sitting in pre-stage. I'm not rushing in. And it looks like a pterodactyl is coming from the north side of the camera here. Oh, it's gone. And he lets me know, as does John. I already saw the other guy, but that's okay. And I know that I'm on a single at this point, but you still want to act like you're in competition. Hit the tree, make a good run. You can hear it shift nice and clean again, really snatches the motor down in between gears. That was a 771. And this is the final round. I stopped before the water to, I believe, I don't remember the number of cars, but this was the final round. I'll be racing Ron Regal again. And this is me perched before the burnout box. It was a very dry day. You really don't want to roll through the water and give the water a chance to dry out. So I just want to make sure I'm going to go pretty much right into my burnout after I roll through the water. And Ron Regal, you've seen in the previous video, raced him once already. One of the best in Division 1. I'll let him do his over the line burnout first, then I'll do mine. I believe this is pretty quick. Hey, there we go, we're off. And unfortunately, I do not win. You'll hear the details of this race later in the video. But this is the following weekend at the Divisional. This is the first run of the day. The quickest and fastest the car has gone to date. This is a 766, 179.4. The way to start the day is the second run. Interesting angle there of the burnout. And there was probably 4 to 5 hours between the runs, and mistakes certainly happened. I left the wheelie bars up, and the car just stood on the wheelie bars, and the line lock also failed. So I had a lot of stuff going against me on that one, and both of them were my fault. So I saw him. He passed me about 1,000 foot, and that was the first round of that day. Here's some bonus TV coverage that's on YouTube, D1 TV, and thank you to MicroStrategies for putting that on. And I'll let the announcer take it from here.
180 miles an hour, that's good. And a 771 for Brian Moody.
So this was actually, I'll be the announcer. This is actually the first run on Saturday, and this is the second run on the Saturday. That was the April 16th. That was the PC Richard day. This is the first round where I had the bye run, and then after this run you will see the final round run. So going through the procedures, you see John skedaddling around the car, checking the height of wheelie bars, which you could see the importance of that, because when I did leave them up, the car leaves very different. You don't necessarily want to yank the tires that high off the ground. It's not efficient. You want the car always going forward. It's a nice audio. I'll let it happen.
All right, it's going to be a single here for Brian Moody, as Jeff Simons already parked out of here yesterday. Going through the gears, 5-speed, and let's see what he goes. 768 with a 5.
Those are the numbers, best 60 foot ever. And this is as we roll into the final round. You'll see the numbers, but I was 008. I believe Ron was 043. I knew I had him covered, but I've first time really bracket racing at this speed and judging the top end at 180 miles an hour or so. I did dump it. It was just a little bit too late. The chute came out a little bit too late. I didn't pull it early enough. Knew what decision I wanted to make, just timing was not there. That comes with experience, but it'll come. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later in
Hot Rod
2020.
68 Camaro. Let's see what he can do right here. Phew, baby, he was gone out there. 008 on the light. How about that, Brian Moody? Can he win it? He breaks out by 26 thousandths. Give it to Ron Regal. 43 on the light. It's going to be a win. 688 runs 3 over the dial at 203 mile an hour. Ron Regal, your top sportsman champion. Boy, I thought Brian Moody was going to spank him good out there.